was it afterwards? It's too early to meet, so.
Okay. All go?
Yeah.
It's 7 o'clock. Welcome to the planning committee. And particularly welcome to members of the public. It's always good to see people taking an interest, genuinely. I think we're all pleased to see people coming along and taking interest on, items on the agenda. So yes, welcome. We start with an open session at planning, which is your opportunity to speak to us. I think there's only yourself speaking, and
I believe so, it looks
yeah.
that way.
You can have your 3 minutes to speak. We've got a bit of sort of routine thing to go through first, but then this will be the first item on the agenda anyway, so you only need to bear with us a few minutes and we can talk about that particular item.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So, okay, off you go.
I read in the agenda for the meeting that there was the planning application regarding the move of the market back to where it was, where the market hall used to be. And although I must admit, when the market first moved from the market hall to where it is now, the car park just across the road, I was disappointed having attended the market for several years. But I do remember when we first moved here 32 years ago, the market was just across the road, which I'll come back to later. But having now attended the market regularly for some years, its present placement is by far and away, I believe, a better location. Storeholders I've spoken to have all told me that their turnover has gone up since moving there. And so I wanted to basically put forward the customer's view, and I'm not associated with any of the vendors at the market, but it seems to be a better place where it is now. And if that was the general opinion of the stallholders, and if the rules of the market, which I understand may well go back in hundreds of years, allow, then that would be a better place for it. I thought about it and give 3 specific points. One being, it is more popular down where it is. So the car parking is more available. You've got a very large car park in front of the co-op. I personally park in the bus station car park, and there's a little walkway through to where the market is. Makes a very easy access, no matter which direction you're coming into Holmfirth from. And so that would be my first point about leaving it where it is now. My second point is that, in fact, where it was, after all the changes have been made in Holmfirth, the actual parking places available there would be, I believe, 26 rather than the 24 that were originally there. And the market stalls would be taking up those spaces. And I know that Holmfirth Forward have been trying hard to get more people involved in the market and more stalls there. So that would lead to a direct correlation between the busier the market got, the less availability there was of parking spaces actually adjacent to the market. Which would be the same no matter where you put it, arguably, but the present place, location, has a lot of parking places available, certainly a lot more than the 26 that would be where it is planned to go back to. And that would, to me, be a damn good reason for keeping it where it is now, rather than moving it back to where it was. I do understand some infrastructure have been put in place to allow electricity at the site and what have you. So I can understand that these sunk costs might be an issue. However, as an ex-project manager, one of the things I learned was that sunk cost is never an argument for carrying on. My last point really as well, not my last point, my second point, is I've given some thought to this, and the location where the market is going back to, the entrance and exit for the car parking at that place is effectively on the most busy 100-yard stretch of the A635 in combination A1024 in Holmfirth. And entry and exit from that car park at 8 o'clock in the morning will be, in my humble opinion, a very risky process. Having been and used that car park in years past, it was busy then, and it sounds like it would be even busier now. And that 100 yards of road also includes what I believe is probably the smallest pinch point for traffic on the A635, just across from the Ashley Jackson shop. And finally, what I wanted to say was that it's interesting, when I park in the bus station car park and I walk down the little path to the market, I discover today, as I researched it on the internet, that I'm walking on a pathway called Market Walk. I also discovered today that the road that the market is located on is adjacent to a road called Market Street. It does seem somewhat perverse to move the market to the other side of town from the location where anybody looking on Google Maps or, for instance, looking at the co-op would find that it's not on Market Street. I rest my case.
Thank you very much. Okay, as I say, we'll go through a few of the routine things and then we'll pick it up from there. So, item 117. Council meetings can now be recorded. It is being recorded anyway for our YouTube channel. Does anyone else wish to make an additional recording? No? Okay. Item 118 is to accept apologies for absence.
We've had one apology this evening, reason for absence from Councillor Lyles.
Do we all accept that apology?
Yeah. Definitely.
Item 119, to receive members and officers' personal and disclosable pecuniary interests in items on the agenda. I can kick it off with, I have an interest on, I don't know which member it is, but the gin lane one. Jenny.
Could you let me know can you just grab the number for me?
It will be on our list number
15.
Thank you.
yes.
I've got two. Item number 3 on our list and item number 8.
8.
Mary?
Maybe not necessary, because I think we're going to discuss it, but application 19, that was June Infant School, governor.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Item 120, to consider written request for new DPI dispensations. Have we any, Gemma?
No, I've got nothing received this time.
And item 121, to consider whether items on the agenda should be discussed in private session. Do you have anything that needs to be discussed in private? No? Thank you. Item 122, confirm the minutes of the previous meeting. So we just noted minutes of the 12th of January meeting. Alright, noted. And to consider any further actions, which is where we can pick up about the First Market.
That's right. It is
We need
just
to
worth a mention.
suspend standing orders
Yeah.
first, I believe, so can we vote to suspend standing orders? Are we okay with that?
I forgot that I should have declared an interest on this one.
It's all right. We can go back.
Yeah. I'll sit mute.
Okay, so, the market. It might be worth just putting in a little bit of context. This came up at our last planning meeting, an application from Home First Forward. And we had a look at this, and I can read out actually what we formally said at the end of that.
That's all the questions, yes.
Councillors were unable to reach a decision without further information. They asked that the following factors should be considered: have existing stallholders from the Crown Bottom site been consulted about the change in location and how this affects their business? What is the demand for stallholders in the new area? Is there a waiting list for the new site, or might it be a challenge to fill spaces? What storage provision is planned for stallholders at the car park? We are aware of commercial waste storage pressures that may conflict with this. Are the intended vendors local to Holmfirth? Is there any concern from the surrounding businesses to the site regarding competition, and have they been consulted? And finally, there is some concern locally regarding the proposed closing of the parking spaces for 3 days per week and the continued effect on the adjacent business to the site. So, having said that, so essentially what we're saying, we didn't feel we had enough information to make a call one way or another. We did think it would be something we could offer Holmfirth Forward the opportunity to come and explain a bit more about what they were trying to do. And as a result of that, we thought equally we ought to offer the existing storeholders the same opportunity to come and tell us about their sort of side of the story, so to speak. Now, Holmfirth Forward haven't been able to meet tonight, so we don't have anyone from them anyway. Whether that will happen in time or not, I don't know, because potentially Kirklees could make a decision on this at any time anyway. If they'd been here tonight, we may have wanted to change our decision to either support or oppose it in time for Kirklees to get that decision. I feel it's probably a bit unlikely now, but I can't assume, Steve, can I? I think it's a bit unlikely now, isn't it? Given that we're another month before we meet again anyway. So, there we are. I mean, very interested in what you had to say. I know speaking to other people in the sort of locality, you really echoed a lot of what's been said already. It would be nice to get Holmfirth Forward's point of view.
Yeah.
I wondered, have you had conversations with them on these subjects?
No, not at all. All I've ever seen is the marketing information that's been scattered around.
It seems slightly strange, doesn't it, that they've put in a planning application and not spoken to the stallholders first.
No, can I just, as the stallholder, I just want to confirm,
Yeah, sure.
we haven't been consulted by Kirklees Council when the move happened, as well as we've never been consulted.
I guess Kirklees wouldn't necessarily get involved in so much as Holmfirth Forward were given the licence, so they're the licence.
Yeah, but we were never told why we were moving to the site, and the council have known that the car park would be the eventual site back, and so no provisions. I don't understand what our motivation would be to go back to that site. I can't see any benefit of going back to that site with no storage, no toilet facilities, no hand washing facilities. As it stands, and my understanding of what will or will not be at that old/new site. And the safety, if the car park is going to be open with only 6 stalls on it, my concerns are safety as well. Where are the stall holders going to park? There's a lot of questions I've got, but unfortunately I was hoping Holmfirth Forward would have clarified a few of those today.
Councillor Blackett?
Yeah, I was a member of Holmfirth Forward for a while at the time when the stalls were moved from the original place, and it was such a struggle to try and find somewhere suitable. There's a lot of talk about that square part of the car park in the Corp, wasn't there, at one time? And then that was unsuitable. So I mean, it's a success story really. That what opinion at first sight a pretty unlikely and not very positive site seems to work.
Yeah, that was my impression.
And its location is excellent there, isn't it? As I understand, I haven't looked back at the original planning application for the new car park, but my understanding is that it was obviously it was put forward as a joint dual use really, and as you say the power and water had been put in, so it's a conundrum really, isn't it? But it certainly works well. It certainly works well where it is.
Yeah, and we've built up really good working relationships with the church.
Yes.
And the surrounding area of how it's used. So it's it'd be nice to keep that community sort of working relationship going.
Yeah, we had communication from Kirklees councillor, and that was one of the points. That was one of the points that he made. That it was a good relationship with the market in the church. So yes, there are a lot of positives to being where you are, and yeah, it's beginning to look a little difficult to move back really. But as our chair says, I think we probably do need to hear from Firth Forward before we change our. I mean, we did spend quite a long time discussing it at our previous online meeting, and yeah, it came to the conclusion we couldn't really make a decision until we'd heard really from both sides.
You want to add anything?
Yeah, my thoughts on this from planning point of view. What reasons can we give to refuse a planning application? The other one we can probably go for is you mentioned the highways issues that there would be, but there would have been them issues before when the market was where it was before.
Yes.
So I don't think that would go for one. I don't know what planning considerations you can give to refuse it. So we have guidelines that we have for giving refusal, and I don't think there would be any for doing it. And I understand your frustrations and where you're coming from, and you spoke really well about it, the reasons for wanting to keep it there. It's Home Firth Forwards, if they've got the licence, they decide where the market's going to be. I can see some benefit from keeping some stalls down that end and maybe doing something else at the other side as well, and trying to do some kind of different kind of market or something like that, which might be good for both parts of the town. Spread it out a bit. There's no reason why they can't do that. And the idea of using the car park for some kind of event market as well. So lots of people go to Christmas markets, they travel to Leeds, to York, to Manchester. Having something like that on that side would be really good at that time of year, or special things, special events throughout the year could be really good. Bring a lot of people into the area, go to the other shops and do other things. But I can understand why you want to keep your stalls and do your bit down there where it's working. It's a difficult one because
Almost an internal sort of discussion.
It's stuff like that. It's not really planning reasons for us to refuse the application. And also, like, quite often when we get applications like this, we end up thinking, can we refuse it? No. So we have to kind of accept it in a way. There's no reason to refuse it. And the reasons for refusal aren't really planning matters. And what do you use for the toilets at the moment? Do you use the church or do you use the co-op as well? Or did they open up for you and let you use toilets there? There's toilets in the library which you can use across the road from where the market will be now, and they're open on Saturdays, and the library's open on a Wednesday. I appreciate that's not ideal. It'd be better to have your own dedicated toilet facilities.
Yeah, I mean the days of the week as well. I mean, I know that this is a planning meeting, but the days of the week to me, you look at different dates. You know, I've been informed by Kirklees Council how we can get around the licence thing.
Yeah.
Which again is not really for this meeting, but there's options for us to do that. Then to me, it's looking at the days that it's doing it. 3 days a week seems a big ask to start with.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and I agree. I think having somewhere where a Christmas market, a food festival, which they've done before, I can see that, and I can see that working. But for us, and I don't know if Home Firth Forward would expect us to be there 3 days a week if we were to move back. You know, and I think that puts constraints on us in terms of the business as well. But I think because we've got the established days of Thursdays and Saturdays with the push markets, I think we stay as we would do at School Street on Thursdays and Saturdays, and it would be, I think, more reasonable to look at the new market at different days.
Yeah.
Instead of doing the Thursday and the Saturday and the Sunday, and particularly taking 2 days out of the week, both weekend days out for that car parking for those of the businesses around it. To me, it would make more sense to look at it as different days for a new market.
Yeah, actually, I didn't agree with the 3 days.
No.
And actually taking up the whole car park, I thought was very ambitious.
But they might have to for safety reasons, I don't know.
Considering there's only very few stalls at the moment.
Yeah.
But the way I looked at it is that they might try and get the licence for the whole car park for when they have the big events on, and then it's in place, so they're not having to apply for interim licences every time that they want something special on. And I thought, and I'm like, if they want to use part of it, that was the whole point of the site. They wanted to use part of it for events. So I don't mind them using part of it. When they talked about using the whole car park at first for the whole market, I was a bit taken aback by that. So I totally get where you're coming from. So if we could kind of reach a kind of compromise, really, that's what I think. But from a planning point of view, I don't think there's any grounds for actual refusal.
Yeah.
On
No, I
the toilets thing could be something actually, on the hygiene basis, because you should have a hygiene basis for, and the storage thing, but they must have to, I imagine they must be thinking of ways to try and work this out. They might be why they're not here today, because they're still working it out with the council. Could be the case, could be the case.
Maybe. I think because it's a licensing application, really, isn't it? I think they've gone for like a maximum, really. I don't think because it would be ridiculous to have to keep going back for extra days. I don't know. But and I mean, I think there's quite a lot of ignorance around, really, because I'm not sure whether the license for the market where it is at the moment, if that's only temporary and dependent upon there not being anywhere else. But it's really only Holmfirth forward, isn't it, that can sort out this. But yeah, I'm disappointed to hear that nobody's been to speak to you about it before this application was put in.
Can I move this forward then? I think, from my sort of point of view, I don't think it takes us any further forward in our decision. I don't think we're in any better position or any worse position to elaborate on
Can
what
I
you
just
said
say
already.
something, Mr.
Certainly.
Chairman? I think, I agree with you what you're saying, but I think it needs a further looking into by us, because we represent the people here, and these are the people. And to me, what we used to do at Kirklees with markets, what they did then, I well remember, we asked the market people what they wanted to do, because it's them that's making the business, bringing the people in. And when you start telling people what to do, sometimes you find they don't do anything at all, put everything in the wrong place. I'm not a market man, this gentleman is. He's been in the market trade a long, long time. So he knows the best places and the best places to make anything. And if he's not going to make anything, then he's going to stop coming. We need to support them.
Yes.
I don't know how we're going to do it, but we need to support them.
And I think, I'm very grateful we've heard that side of the argument, so to speak. What we haven't heard is the equivalent from Holmfirth
Well,
Forward.
don't do Holmfirth Forward, do what's their job.
Sorry.
What is Holmfirth Forward's job?
Well, they've put the application in and we've asked them if they'd like to come and give us more details.
How many elected people are on Holmfirth Forward?
We've got a license to run the
We've
market.
got the
They've got the
license.
license to run the market,
They're
and they're
running
doing
the
all the
market.
negotiation with
No, they also run in the market. The market would have closed down completely if they hadn't taken on the
We never
license.
used to have Holmfirth Forward before, and we managed quite well without one.
At the end of the day, they're the licence holder and it's a planning application and we can only look at the application. We can't.
But they're only interested in what they're interested in. Are they interested in these people? I am.
I think, it takes us back to where we started in that, for me, I would have liked Holmfirth Forward to come and give their
Well, they should have been here tonight, shouldn't they?
They should. They still have the opportunity to do that, but of course, we're another month before we have another meeting, by which time Kirklees may well have made the decision anyway. All we can do is offer them.
Can you think of any planning reasons to refuse the application?
Sorry?
Do you think of any planning reasons to refuse the application?
I'm looking at planning reasons, and I'm looking at the reasons where the people want to put the market. There's two things you need to look at and separate. There's planning reasons, which may or may not be good, and there's where the people want the market, where they think it's best. That may not work very well, but to them, they know better than I do where they're going to make money and where they're going to be able to sell the products. What Holmfirth Forward with the licence is doing, they're saying you will have it here, and basically they've not even bothered to come to talk to us. I mean, we are a small council, surely we have some clout as well. We should have.
Then I suggest we move it forward. I think my initial sort of thoughts are that we don't have any real additional information that will let us make a decision over and above where we were last time,
You
at the moment.
a note from somebody from Home First Forward that did send a note through,
Yes.
and there was a note from Councillor Brooke as well, if you wanted to.
I haven't read Councillor Brooks because I think we've covered all those points, I believe, anyway. I mean, I'm quite happy to read it. I don't think it's adding anything. The email from Home First Forward was, thanks for the invitation to talk with the planning committee about the market. As I said on the phone, I can't be available this evening, but given timings, etc., I wonder if a coffee with one of the councillors would be helpful. I could explain some of the opportunities and problems we are facing with the market and do my best with the questions raised. I am available this week on Tuesday evening, Wednesday late morning, and lunch Thursday or next week. My only problem with that is, of course, meeting one or two councillors doesn't take us forward. We need, if we're going to make a decision on this, it needs to be at a planning committee, and that really is next month, by which time we may have missed it. I think certainly we could offer them the chance to come again next month.
Excuse me, have Home First Forward actually asked the customers where they would like the market to be?
Well, that was one of the questions to yourselves, and I think the answer is seemingly no. They may say differently.
I'm reluctant to speak simply because I'm out of my depth. But if it truly is a market in the old-fashioned use of the word market, handed down through generations and from kings and queens granted, are we certain there are no special conditions within the licence? I'm unaware of any such thing, but it would be good to see what the licence actually says. Yes, I go back to my point, especially since we're just across the road from Market Street. And I know a lot of the old licences were very specific about placement.
But to be fair to Home First Forward, when Kippley stopped wanting to run market, Home First Forward came forward and kept the market going, and that was a time when I was attending their meetings, and it was a real struggle to try and keep things going. So the market wouldn't have been there at all if they had not stepped up and done something at that point. And it took an awful long time to actually do what to achieve what didn't seem to be a huge amount, lots and lots of delays experienced. So I really think we should be fair to
I don't agree with you.
Talk
So,
to them.
Councillor Dixon.
Yeah, I think because we don't have planning reasons to refuse the application, and I think we should just be no comment about it. But also at the same time as well, we should reach out to them for forward and ask them to try and reach compromise with the customers and with the stallholders, and try and meet somewhere in the middle about this. And like, if it is a few stalls down, there's stalls down by the church and by the court car park there, and then other stalls elsewhere, then I think that could be it. But I don't know if they'll want to do that or not. So it's
I've had it in writing confirmation when I was emailing Home First Forward asking if they would consider running School Street site at the moment alongside moving back to the old site. It took me a while to get a response, but they did say they did not want to do that. So I had that in an email and phone call from a member as well to say that they did not want to run more than one site.
Well, it wouldn't make sense it would be easier to run the one site, so I do understand where they're coming from, although I don't agree with them. And like I said, if they had all the stalls in one place, you'd like to think it could generate more footfall, but you don't want to move, so I can totally understand where you're coming from both sides, and I just don't know. I'd like to think they could come up with a compromise, but it doesn't look like it, so it's a difficult one for us, because I was going to say, from a planning point of view, there isn't planning reasons to refuse it, so it's not much we can try and reach out to them forward and try and invite them to another meeting and try and ask them to discuss and talk with you people and try and satisfy your concerns.
Do we think it's worth asking them to come to our next planning?
Yeah, it's worth a try. Anything's worth a try, isn't it? But
and at the moment we leave our statement as it is.
Yes, I'm not inclined to change the statement. I think you can be difficult to start changing it. Not that we made a decision really, but I think we did
Made a
explore it.
decision not to
We
make a
did
decision.
we made a decision not to make a decision. And we did discuss it pretty thoroughly, and our response does include many of the points that you made. So I think we just leave it be, but yeah, invite Comfort forward and try and explore, try and become a little less ignorant maybe about this issue.
Are we all okay with that? All in favour of doing so? Thank you very much.
Invite them again
Yes.
as an action.
And I could contact them in between. I'd rather they came and spoke to us all. No. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you very much. You are more than welcome to stop and listen to them.
No more, thanks.
Thank you very much. No one ever does.
I'm sorry, we're not told you everything you want to hear, but like, we have our rules and all.
It's a public meeting, isn't it?
And I understand where you particularly are coming from.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but like it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of the thoughts I had when I was researching stuff for coming here this evening, it was just a thought that flashed into my head. They're a not-for-profit organisation, but not-for-profit doesn't mean not-for-nothing. It's costing them to do stuff, and so they're going to have to find a balance somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully it all works out, but.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Or do we need to sign it?
No, I don't have any other quotes in this section.
Okay, so on to 1, 2, 3, Grady's planning applications. So we noted the list. Noted two lists, sorry.
One from the zero, one from the rest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2, to consider new or
Thank you.
applications received by counties. Here we go.
Do you mind shouting out the numbers? No, because I have neglected to make a mark on which ones we wanted to do.
Right, the first one according to me is number 2 on the list, which is Marsh Lane and Shepley.
And then note from Councillor Whitemore as well.
Which has already been decided. Item, planning application number 2.
Has it?
The decision has been made.
I didn't pick that up, I must say. And what was the decision?
Oh, yeah, the comment was time expired. It
Oh,
expired
right.
last week.
Yeah, we do get those, don't
It
we?
doesn't say decision on the website for that.
No, sorry, it was time expired.
Yeah,
They still take our comments though,
yeah.
unless they've actually made the decision. Anyone want to kick us off with this one then? Detached dwelling, a 4-bed and a garage.
It's the grey belt again.
Yeah.
Yeah, surrounded by it now.
This one right on the edge, isn't it?
A very lengthy justification of the grey belt.
I'm finding more and more difficulty with this because whereas some of the earlier ones it was fairly clear cut because of the development there already and you could, like it or not, you could sort of say, well yes it is now grey belt. That didn't seem to apply to this one.
This is the development in the back garden, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
There were 2 neighbour objections,
Yes.
and I thought the first one was quite an argued one. And I think the point that concerned me was that they said that the planning application notice on the site was up for about a very short time, and then removed, and you kind of think, well, by who?
I mean, they did have consultation, didn't they?
Yeah.
I just, I don't want to support this, but it's really difficult when you think of reasons for not. I mean, it's a very lengthy grey belt justification, isn't it? And the building itself is simple enough. I don't like the huge great gable windows.
No, I don't like
That's a matter of aesthetics, so you can't.
And they've got a good climate change statement.
Yeah.
It's got air source heating,
Yeah.
solar PV.
Mm.
I think it all hinges about whether is it grey belts. Now, I want to say no, it's not. To me, it's out and out green belt, and therefore it's inappropriate development. But
It's in the
getting this technical
residential,
argument,
isn't
aren't
it?
you?
I mean, in an urban area, you'd go, well, it's just
Yeah.
the back garden and.
Yeah.
In the resident comments, they do say that it will result in loss of liable green space,
Mhm.
destruction of trees and other wildlife habitats. And it mentions bats as well. I'm sure there were owls, they have reports for stuff like that.
I think those are bat surveys come up on others
Yeah.
later on, and there's nothing in the immediate vicinity of bat location.
I can't help but think in the bigger picture that this wasn't an intended consequence of grey belt. You know, this isn't bringing us more affordable homes, is it,
No.
into the home valley?
No.
This is, no.
This is a, what did I say, a 4-bed and garage
Yes.
house
Yes,
in the countryside.
Yes.
Well, this
What
is
what
another
have
stuff
we-
though.
what have we gained from it?
When you see all these housing developments done around all over the place, there's very few with small, cheap, affordable housing. They're all, like 95% of them are all huge houses.
They're not making any attempt either to claim special
No.
No,
reasons at all.
I think they don't think they need to, do
No.
they? Because they don't think they've proved the grey belt justification. And the fact they've had a pre-app consultation, I guess they've responded to that, so I can imagine Kirklees is minded to.
It's unfortunate that pre-app notification isn't available for
Yeah,
public
exactly.
viewing. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest shame, is that we don't know what they were told.
I want to say oppose on the basis that it's inappropriate, but I understand that, you know, that argument might not wash, but that's my personal feeling.
Oh, think about this, I was reading about this arboricultural impact assessment. 12 category C trees and 1 category U tree will be necessary removal to facilitate the development proposal. 3 category B trees and 2 category C trees will require pruning. Does that affect our climate change statement if we're talking about removing trees and things like that?
Yes.
I'm just thinking about that, I don't want to contradict ourselves in what we're doing about horses and things.
What are you talking about putting trees down?
Yep.
You see how many trees you cut down on the straight there? Those houses down there. We had umpteen TPOs on down there, and I got the plan of the TPO trees, and believe me, they had cut at least half of those TPO trees down, and they got away with it. I've never seen as much timber piled up down there. It's wrong. We're either saving the trees and looking on the climate change situation, or we're not. And it seems to me, whatever we say at this council, there's nobody that side of Onley Bridge takes any notice of us. It's simple as that. I know, because for God's sake, I sat for 3 years on planning committees as chairman. I know how much notice those planning officers take. No. As soon as Home First said no, they said yes. As simple as that.
So it's a category C, so they are low quality trees, so they're not like the main ones, but there weren't many TPOs on them or all like that.
I think this whole hinges.
There was a lot of TPOs
Is it
on there,
really
because I checked Skirting's council.
I don't know what's there, yeah, that's totally different to this application.
I don't know, whatever, Tom, if they cut one tree down, it's one too many, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I think the wider argument is, do we want to see that development in Greenbelt?
The developers aren't bothered, they're bothered about what they're going to make.
Do we wish to see it?
Is this in their garden?
And it's a
Is it within their curtilage, isn't it? So it's different, isn't it? It doesn't really count as,
think we can.
when it's within the curtilage, it's,
Still Greenbelt. It's still development.
Listen,
It's still encroaching on Greenbelt.
well, is it green belt or is it grey belt then?
No.
It's Greenbelt.
Greenbelt.
If it's green belt and they haven't displayed the exceptional circumstances, we should refuse it.
I'll go with you.
I don't think.
I'm not convinced that argument will wash, but that's my feeling.
Well, like, if they haven't displayed exceptional circumstances and they're chopping down trees and it's in the green belt, that we should be refusing them. We should only accept green belt when we've got exceptional circumstances. And this is like for, what is it, say 4-bedroom house as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like in the green belt there. It's like right in the middle of loads of fields. Okay, there's a house next to it.
I
But
don't think you can get away from it, from my point of view. it's encroaching into the green belt.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
shall we object and
This
on
is
the
an
ground,
easy one.
on the grounds of the
Well, I think objective will be showing our method.
harming the openness of the green belt.
We're letting them know that we're not happy.
Environmental
Like,
damage.
if it was like an old barn or a building there or something like that, but it's not,
Yeah.
it's like grass, it's like fields and trees.
Are we all okay with opposing on that basis?
Yep.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Thank you.
So, doesn't meet the criteria.
Well, that kind of very special there's no very special circumstances, are there? And it's
There's
not,
They're
it's
not
not
attempted to establish.
community,
It's not going to benefit the community, is it? And it's not like,
community benefit.
it's not what I'd class as grey belt anyway. I class grey belt as like a bit in between or a bit on the edge or something like that, you know, not something like that.
Okay, moving on. Number 3.
Do you want me to leave the room for this?
I suppose you should do.
I should do, shouldn't I?
And which one
Do you want to do 8 immediately afterwards and then?
Yeah.
So you're 3 and number 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. So number 2, Rycroft Lane in Scots. This is one dwelling. It's a green belt again, and it's a new build. We've had one neighbour comment to explain it's inappropriate development.
Which are you looking at now, Mr.
Number
Chairman?
3.
Number 3.
Number 3. But it's already had outline
It has,
permission, so we're
yes.
not, you know, the neighbour's comments not relevant
No.
really.
No, they've already lost that
I
argument.
I don't think we've got much option really, but I think
No.
this was tabled, wasn't it? So I think this is, we'll have to support this one. Perhaps reluctantly.
My only sort of couple of issues on this were there's not really very much detail on the plans
No.
to understand what they're actually building. And there's no climate change statement.
No.
Do they need to have a climate change statement at this
Well,
point?
I could say we're unable to reach the conclusion because there's very little very little information on there, wasn't there? It was.
At first I thought they were only seeking approval for access, but they're not. They've ticked all the boxes.
Yeah.
It's massive, isn't it?
But very little in the way of information, isn't there? Like a sketch rather than a plan.
It wasn't a good application,
No.
was it? I mean, we could say we can't, we feel it's insufficient information to reach a decision.
What's your feelings, Tom?
I'm just trying to work out where it is off the top of my head. I haven't looked at that plan, so I apologise, Chair. That's new and new.
We could put down not enough information. That's what I put down, if we're not happy. Not enough info.
I think in particular, not enough detail on the plans and no
Yeah.
climate
And
change.
no climate change statement, yeah.
It's a bit more favourable to this than the last one because it's on an existing.
They'll get it.
Is it going to increase on the existing footprint of the other property there? Or is it going to be on
I'm
the
not sure,
footprint?
but I mean, they've already got outline planning permission, so the argument's
we
already lost in that
It's
sense.
got solar panels on it as well, hasn't it, on the roof, so it probably would fit the climate change, some of the stuff we do.
But it was a week, it was a week application, wasn't it? And we didn't, I expected a lot more detail. Because like you, I thought it was just to do with access first and then.
Lack of detailed information,
Yes.
whenever he was to take any notice of it down, it could just throw it down.
We did that, Donald, I think.
Are we okay with that? Okay with it, Tom?
Yeah, fine.
So just insufficient info.
Yeah.
No, should we say no comment?
No.
No. Come on, comment is.
No comment. Unable to comment.
Well, we'll have to make a judgment on it.
I know they've done some more stuff down there. My brother lives down the road from there, and he lives in a converted pig shed. We call it the old pig shed, and they made it into like a house. So if it's something similar to that, like on that grounds, we're probably going to get permission out.
Moving on to number 8 then now. Spring Lane in New Mill. 6 dwellings.
A business one?
We're doing number 8 so that
Oh,
Steve can
sorry,
come
of
back
course,
in
yeah.
then. So this is
This is an interesting one.
it is. it's quite a nice,
Yeah,
on the face of it, nice looking
it's a lovely building.
building without buildings.
Peering through the railings, you know, like.
Yeah, you see the
Peasants
airports,
looking at-
beautiful, aren't they?
Oh, it's amazing,
Yeah.
absolutely amazing, yeah. So,
But they're wanting to, not knock that down, they're wanting to convert that and then convert the outbuildings to form 6 new dwellings. We've had 4 neighbour comments on these.
I thought they were making this into like a wedding venue at one point there.
yeah, well, that application was withdrawn, it wasn't rejected as one of the objectors said.
So instead they wanted to build a lot of houses there.
Yes.
They're going to split the big house into 2 and then do one 3-bed, one 3-bed and one 2-bed where the existing pool is. Take down the where there was a garage, put 2 2-bedrooms. So they are small
Yes,
houses.
yes.
But again, I thought this was a really lazy application. I mean, it's a big. They're looking to do a great deal of work, and there was very little information. I mean, there was the climate change statement I thought was really minimal for the
Yes.
development of this
Yes, I
site.
thought that.
Well,
There
so
was
before
no access planning statement.
Well, the
No
neighbours have
office
made
of
this
the,
point.
This is that big house on Spring Lane,
Yes.
Yeah.
where the guy just sold up and gone.
Oh, is it?
Was that what's happened?
Yeah, well, lost his wife, he had a helicopter, you know. He says, I've got any crackers in New Mill, landing at midnight and things like that, this big helicopter. And it was the one I'm thinking about, it has already been flats, going back years ago it was flats.
Right.
The 3 flats they made it into a big house. Then they made it back into a big house, of course, to see people further on, he bought it, this guy. There's a lot of buildings, single decker buildings,
That's right.
which is, I think he's probably wanting to make them into living accommodation.
Yes, yeah.
But the road infrastructure on there is only very narrow, and Spring Lane isn't wide, you know.
Well, this has come out of the
You
neighbour
can go on road
comments.
infrastructure if you start, you know, no, you couldn't put a housing estate on Spring Lane because there'd be an accident before you knew where you were.
This has come out of the neighbour comments that there are highways issues, there are no footpath.
No, there's no footpath at all.
it's very narrow.
It is narrow,
There's
yeah.
been lots of accidents on there. Then the junctions you're coming out to aren't great.
It's an accident waiting to happen.
One of them said
What
it's,
are you going to do with the building? Like, what are you going to
Yeah.
do with it? If it's not going to be residential, what else could it be?
It would be,
You
it
know,
would
Oh,
be great as a wedding
the
venue.
guy
It
was
would be
so
brilliant
good.
as a wedding venue,
He
exactly.
used to keep all his cows in there. I mean, they were a very wealthy man, I believe, but, you know, I mean, whoever buys it, it's up to them what they're gonna do with it. Provided they don't make a mess of it and there's problems.
I
one of
guess
the,
if this is what he wants to do, whoever's bought it, what they want to do with it, which is to split the house into 2
Ah, make a-
and turn the
Oh,
pool.
yeah.
I mean, one of the comments was that it's inappropriate development and it's sprawl, but, It's already there.
It's already there, I can't.
so I don't think that argument really carries.
Some of the buildings aren't, though, are they? Is it Unit 5 was looking at here, that's like new. They're going to knock down the bit, like the bit where the garage and the pool is, it's kind of on the footprint, but there's the garages and the store on the other side. And that's kind of,
Yes,
that's the building, and
they're going to knock that down.
it's Greenbelt, isn't it, you say? Is this an inappropriate, is this appropriate development for Greenbelt?
2
I'm not sure. It's probably not that bad, to be honest, like you say, it's not that bad, is it? But
And
it's,
arguably, they're putting the sort of houses that we need, 2 and 3
Yes, they
bed
are small,
houses.
yeah.
yeah, but like, there won't be a lot of cost houses, they'll cost an absolute mint there.
So
They'll cost a fortune, they will do.
Well, they will do, but at least they're small, which is
Small
something.
and expensive.
But
They're
again,
not low cost houses.
I thought this was a really bad application, as though somebody really could, not take much effort over it really, so my feeling was to defer it again to create these officers, because they're not getting enough information there. There's no reference, was it, to it being Greenbelt, there's no planning, no access.
Does it mention any land? I guess I said, does it mention any land with it? I don't think there is there?
It's only within the curtilage of that.
Just a little bit around the curtains of the property, not a lot.
Well,
But,
that's quite a lengthy drive, isn't it, down to the.
It is,
down
it's
to
just
the
the had it
Jackson-
tarmacked about,
the Jackson
about 12
Bridge
months
end
ago.
of- Yeah.
It's a bit like M1 now down there, but it's only narrow. It's only narrow.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at, like, I can just see them building a load of houses on there at some point. They could knock down the wall at the side and widen the road, and then they could put an application in, like, with a local plan, somewhere like that, tons of houses down there, and make something like there is at Leeds Gardens and
I mean,
Jackson Bridge.
this would
You know,
come
John,
by
it's
that
my
point.
belief that he's done a lot of alterations, the guy that sold it, without planning permission, because I never saw any plans going in there, anything ever done on there.
It's totally believable, isn't it?
You know, I mean, it's a bit like that tennis court on top that you can only see from a helicopter. It'll be there about 10 years before anybody knew when he did it without planning permission. You know, thought it was out it worked.
Are we going to sort of, we're going to leave this to Claire, please, but make the points that it's poor on detail and there's support.
Yeah, well, make a point that we have a point like poor on detail and the infrastructure, road
And highways
infrastructure
is
ain't good enough at all.
Yeah.
For what he's wanting to do.
Are we okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I've got it, Steve.
If you don't mind that, Tom.
Number 5 is in Kirkburton, isn't it?
Right, Steve.
Kirkburn,
It's Upper Marsh Farm in Shepley.
There's a little bit
Where
of
is
land
it?
here that is within the parish.
Because I looked up, it was just on the Kirk, well, not too much, I looked up on the Kirklees website and it said this particular Upper Marsh Farm was actually in,
What else?
Oh, is it?
yeah,
I don't know. Normally they're quite good at sending through the right wards because they know about, well,
Yeah,
they've
well,
got the lists
yes,
of
yeah.
addresses because of the council tax.
is it just down Marsh Lane? Have you got to see the plan?
Upper Marsh Farm,
The
Shepley.
plans are on the link.
Because there was a building there, there's a garden put up, for his gardening tackle. And somebody else bought it and that has now become living accommodation. And if I remember right, obligated upper, I'm sure it said Upper Marsh Farm. But if it is in our patch, just.
Yeah, there's a few that are
Just in our
just
patch.
inside.
There's the ones on Knapscliff, there's two, 3 houses on Knapscliff. Then there's a row of them looking down towards New Mill. And I think there's about 3 there, they're on our patch. And there's one further down on the right hand side that used to, Mr. Precious used to live there, that had the bakery in, sorry, the butcher's shop in Shelley. That's just the last one in our patch now.
Is this number 5?
We've got
Yes.
the tiniest little bit of HD8 and on the other side we've got a tiny little bit of HD4.
It's almost,
Just a couple of streets.
it's actually almost on the junction of Penison Road. isn't it?
Oh, that's it, it's on our patch, without a doubt.
It's not that big an extension, is it?
I was going to say, having said all of that,
It's exactly wasn't it?
It's,
I thought it was fairly unremarkable, apart from, I don't like the wood cladding, but that's personal.
And is it just expanded onto an outside concrete block with an old toilet on it?
Trying to think about it.
That's what it says on here.
the original application, they got an application in 2014 to create the little one-bedroom bungalow.
I think it's okay.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought it was fairly unremarkable.
Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Accepted.
It's quite that's the place.
Yes, Upper Marsh Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It has to.
Upper Marsh Lane. There isn't such a thing as Upper Marsh
That's it
Farm.
matters.
I mean,
There
if
is
you want
now.
to make a comment, it's
There's really two.
I
There are
think-
there are a couple of farms in fact that are half in the parish and half not in the parish. I know this.
Are we okay to support this one?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 6 then, Whitegate Road, Magdale. Demolish an existing extension and building a new one. Replaceable flat roof.
Yeah, I knew you'd like this one. It's a very elaborate roof
Yeah.
as well. It's
Yeah.
not just a lean-to. the best part
It's a
about it, I
different
thought, was
conservation officer.
Yes.
the conservation appraisal, I thought was a really good document.
It's very thorough, isn't it,
Thorough.
for what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought they're getting their money's worth.
We're okay supporting this one?
Yes.
Thank you. Number 8 we've done. Number 9, Bradshaw Road in Conway. A rear extension and sunroom. Well, this is the one where they've had approval in the past for the larger extension, but not do it, I think.
Yeah.
Again, I thought fairly unromantic.
Pretty hideous looking.
Yeah.
I don't think
Not
you
to
can
this
refuse
man,
it for being hideous.
There's no reason to.
You got it.
You never know.
No.
Hideous.
Leave out of that, thing too.
Councillor
There's
Black.
Nobody
no-
says.
There's no reason to do that.
No, I thought it was fairly
Or however it looks.
unremarkable.
Yeah.
Are we okay supporting that one then?
Yep.
Thank you. Number 15, which house will now disappear for?
Right.
You get the picture, aren't you?
Is this right when nobody didn't talk to us about this one?
I thought we had a lot of people here. We had loads when we were met. Remember when we met at Conley Library?
I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was only 3 of us.
3 minutes, 4 hours.
We've got 147 comments.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Every single
objections.
one.
There's a lot of information backing this application up to try and refute some of the demands placed on them previously and comments made in the past. My reading of some of the documentation is that there's been a bit of cut and paste by a couple of the consultants. And particularly was the one that struck me in particular was, I think it was the transport plan, which talks about the use of public transport for those staff and students who have no regular access to private vehicles. And I'm thinking, that doesn't apply. in
Well,
the
it shouldn't
case.
do, should it?
So they've obviously cut and pasted another document. And they also make a number of, this could happen. And they don't say who's going to pay for it. In relation to the access onto Gin Lane, they say they can't do it, it's too expensive, it's costs £750,000. But they will ensure that the land is there so that if the improvement is needed in future, it can be done, which presumably means can be done by Kirklees. They also claim to say they're going to put in solar panels, but they don't say they're going to put in batteries for houses to store power. And also they're putting in EV charging points. And if more are needed in the future, they will be provided.
Not every house has.
But they don't actually say by whom.
Sketchy, you could say, couldn't you? Very sketchy.
Well, I think it's appalling. And
Tells you
I say
nothing.
the amount of information that is there is just intense, and I think for some of it is quite useful, I must admit, but I don't know what everyone else thinks. I mean, my feeling is that we have to accept that it will be built on. It's in the local plan.
Yeah.
I don't think that's,
No.
my feeling is it's just overdeveloped. I know it's, in essence, it seems quite small, or the density, it's 18.5 acres per hectare, or 7.5. quite low. But the access is not brilliant.
Isn't, Gin Lane's not wide.
You know, I would be happy with 40 to 45 properties rather than 50. But that's just my personal opinion.
I mean, I think this is one of the situations you get quite often, isn't it? It's like a war of attrition, that they keep bringing things back and then try and reduce the number. I mean, the mix of housing is good, because there's 18 two-beds, aren't there, which is more, and
That's the Sweden, that, you know.
16 three-beds. But I don't see what's materially different really from last time, and last time we objected. And I suggest maybe we should maintain our existing objection, and you know, in terms of it over, you know, the two dense. But whether the new rules about the density of the railway stations coming, who knows? And the MPP,
Is that more dense or less dense?
more dense, 53.
One of the things mentioned, so I'm looking at our original objection, we're talking about highways and traffic safety, which we've already mentioned. It says land stability and farm and mining activity. And then just a quick read of some coal mining report, and I think that there is issues, shallow depths of some bit of coal mining with coal seams there. So I don't know if we've addressed these things. Flooding and drainage, I don't know how big that is an issue. There's been some issues with trees and things like that, but Kirklees didn't think that was a reason to object. So do we think over intensification, highways issues? I don't know what else we would have to refuse it on, what very reasons is there?
I mean, flooding from their point of view is only when there's excessive rainwater. And then it will be a problem, and they admit that. But they have
Is that every winter then excessive rain?
Well, hang on, it's quite right, because when it rains heavy, that field that belongs to Only Grammar School is always underwater.
Yeah.
Always underwater.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a flooding problem.
That's further down though, isn't it? That's further down. But, yeah.
And nobody's ever done anything about it, Tom, it's been like that for years.
I know, yeah.
I mean, they are putting in an attenuation tank, a large one. The mining report is quite extensive, although in some parts a little inconclusive, but or not inconclusive, but vague. They have found old mine workings under there, old added entrances and tunnels. And the public consultation they carried out has been quite extensive in the Hornby area. They've had a website running, which has had some response, mostly negative. I don't know, what do you want to do?
We should have got enough grants to refuse it on still, like the over intensity of the site, the amount of properties, highways issues, and all the environmental things you just listed off still exist. Are we happy that they've addressed our original concerns from that meeting last summer?
We could defer it for further information that comes as useful information.
There's plenty of information in the application, isn't there?
Yeah,
There's about 27 plots. We can't believe that.
It's a 2-day struggle to go through.
I think it's a case of just refusing it again.
It's either that or knock it, I'm all for killing it.
Refuse.
Right.
Do you want me to just reiterate the points from last time, or do you have
Yeah.
any points that you would like to make again this time?
There's nothing in addition, is there?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, they've tweaked it, is really all you can say.
Not much. Not enough. Yeah.
Not substantially.
Not enough to respond to our previous.
I mean, they refute them, but they don't actually positively address and sort of show that we were wrong.
Okay, shall I Andy?
Yeah. And my worry is that the the affordable housing is always the last to be built.
Yeah.
And then they sort of go,
You didn't go that far, Steve went right downstairs.
we need to have 5-bedroom housing instead of 2.
Right, so where have we got to? 17, park riding in Honley. Slightly odd one, I thought this. Change of use and conversion from residential to a dwelling.
Yeah, the original application was tied directly to the existing property and not to become anything else but. And now they're going, we want to flog it. Basically.
Well, it was a garage, wasn't it?
I
think
vaguely
originally-
remember this one
Yeah.
coming round first time. Debates, you know, there was always this debate, oh, we'll turn it into a house, you know, and then condition 4, with the condition
Yeah.
approval, condition 4 was very simply, not to be used an independent
Yeah.
dwelling, and then statements that it was, I don't see what shows it's cramped, with how many amenities of adjacent dwellings, and, I don't think there are any green belt negatives about it, but they're now put forward an application which contradicts
Yeah.
the conditions of the previous.
You know, and it's only 5 years since they got their original decision.
We should review it then based on the conditions and then put in place originally, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah,
That's
I think we-
I'm not sure whether that's-
Especially if it's only 5 years ago. If it was 20, 30 years ago, things change, don't they? In 5 years, not much change.
You just think they've been playing the long game here, don't you?
Yeah, I think so, I think this is their.
That's not even a long game. 5 years isn't a long game. Maybe 20 years time.
Medium term. So oppose on that basis? Okay. Are we all in agreement with that?
Yeah.
And the last one then is, I think that's 21, Westfield Lane in Woolbay.
It's the
Another
most,
interesting one.
it's the most fancy holiday let that's
No,
ever going to
oh,
be built in
That's
Oxford.
what is it not in that one?
Do you think again that this is a bit of a long game, you know? They've got the permission for the stables to make a house and
Yeah,
they want to knock the house down and make a holiday home.
yeah, swimming pool, a cinema, they've got everything, this one.
And a hot tub.
Oh, no,
And whereabouts in Waldo was that?
It's near the football ground.
Yeah.
just opposite the football, Waldo Wanderers football.
It's
I mean,
where,
it's a very miserable little building there at the moment. I mean, this will probably be better, but I don't know.
it's just adjacent from an application we
But
talked
we've,
about last time.
which has been built, yeah.
And it's part of the same.
And it's part of the, yeah. They're also looking to have it rich clients, is all that, was my thought.
I mean, in itself, in isolation, it's not a new property in Greenbelt. I mean, it is in
No.
Greenbelt, but there's an existing property there,
Yeah.
so they're replacing what's there.
Yeah, I think it's probably is agree about really. I mean, it's moved slightly, so it's moved slightly from the footprint, and it's slightly bigger. Being bigger is because it's 1.5 stories and the footprint's the same. And I suppose if we're going to support the local economy, the idea is it's it's a holiday let.
I've sort of
Goodness, how much it's
two comments on this. One is, I mean, its construction doesn't exactly fit with what's around that area, does it? It's brick and render.
Well,
No.
And the other thought was that I thought the climate change statement again was
Awful, yeah.
no air source heating, no solar panels, and yet it's obviously a
That's grounds for refusal.
luxury
refusal.
accommodation.
And as well, it is bigger than the original footprint, that's so it's bigger than the original development.
They say it's taller.
It's
Yeah.
bigger. If it's not in keeping, climate change statement.
Depends what you mean by in keeping, because the existing,
I don't know, not being in keeping, because it's not, the only thing it's close to is that other new build where the stables were, so
And the existing building-
If you come down the driveway there, to the other side, there's all them old houses down there.
You mean where Peter Carr's?
Yeah.
The old mill.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah,
In
but
relation
that's-
to that, I
That's a
mean,
field, that's a field away though, a couple of fields
well,
away.
it's the local character though, isn't it?
I suppose if you're
Well,
looking
no,
at
it
it
is, but-
against the existing building that's there, then
Well, that
Yes,
was
it's
House
an
of
improvement,
Cat,
isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that
House of
was
Cat
House of Cat.
too, wasn't it, because that was a red brick.
Yeah.
It's the original one, red
Red
brick.
brick,
Mm.
yeah, red brick. It is.
It always looks a bit ugly though. It's just, I don't know. Is it?
it looks like
You don't pay for your view, do you? I suppose
it looks
that's
like
what
an
it is.
oldie, doesn't it?
Hmm?
It looks like an oldie.
I mean, I support it in principle, but what worries me is the design.
Mm.
I find that, I think when you have people refusing or recommending refusal, it's just, as Andy said, the materials could be better.
It's horrific.
And I think given that it is luxury accommodation, they make no bones about that.
That's the refusal.
It's climate change should be, you know,
Yeah, I think we should refuse it. Like, climate change statement. I still think it's not in keeping to what anything else is around there. If you go walking up that lane or around from Moordale, it's just nothing like the local area.
But things don't have to be though, do they?
No.
I mean, you can use different materials.
it's a bit subjective, isn't it?
I've no strong feelings either way. Really.
No, I'm a bit
I
on the
just
fence
feel,
on
I
that.
just feel sorry that what was kind of an empty area, because there's the thing about the beehives and
Yeah.
that it's becoming suburban where it was a bit kind of wild and woolly. So
And this is the bigger picture, it's the danger with the green belt and what's going on now, isn't it? The argument was lost initially when the stables were allowed to be replaced with a house.
yes,
Is this kind of development, that this kind of house, what you want to see in the green belt? Is it of the character of the green belt? So we should refuse it then, I think. We need to stick with what we believe in and what we go with it.
But it's better than what's there.
But but still we should expect more. Should we expect better, shouldn't we?
but it is quite an interesting building.
Well, yeah, but
As old as go.
I don't mind. I'll go with the majority.
I'm sort of on the fence. I certainly think we should make a point about the design and the climate change statement, whether we
Yeah.
go as far as opposing it or just.
I think it's still got to find reasons to actually refuse it, because it's replacing one house with another. And if you ignore the holiday let bit and just go, okay, it's a 3-bedroom house, which it could quite easily be turned into, would we refuse it? Or would we recommend refusal?
Chair, have I any local comments about it?
No.
You obviously kept it well under wraps then.
there's not many people living nearby it.
No.
It's not going to be really bothered or affected by it, are they? And that other, I suppose the nearest one where Peter Carr used to live, they've got their own big whopping application in themselves, haven't they? So they don't complain about the others, are they?
I mean, again, I ask myself, is this what they were trying to do when they loosened the reins on green belt? I think not. You know, it's not getting as low cost housing, is it? This is,
What was that? Did we refuse the other one?
I think we opposed the stables, didn't we?
And then it was.
But then they accepted it as being got play development on it.
So I'm kind of thinking,
Looks a bit like a stable, doesn't it?
maybe just give them a comment, we can't decide, can we? I'm not sure about it.
We can just leave it to local planning
Yes.
authority.
We can make some
I'd like to
comments.
make the point
Leave it
about
to you.
design and climate change.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then leave it to the council.
Yeah, I think
Please.
so, because we appear to be split.
So the Berger officers will design up in keeping with the area and insufficient climate change statement.
So, where have we got to? 124 Peak District National Park. Note. List of applications with our views. We note those. No new applications this time.
Can I jump in? While we are on the subject of applications, the meeting schedule for the coming council year, there is a gap where there should be a Zoom one, but there was a clash because there were no free Mondays. So we need to set a Zoom meeting for the week beginning of the 1st of June, which is not the Monday. And I will set that up.
June. What's happening on the first then?
The first is an F&M committee,
Is it? I haven't got that down.
I
Well, might
think.
be.
Sorry?
We might not be on it, might be by then.
Well, it's in the new council year, so you might have to put them.
Maybe that's right.
You might not have put it in yet. I think it's an F&M, could be. But it definitely clashes with.
I could
another
do
meeting.
any day that week for me, particularly as it's a Zoom.
Yes, you could do it from your villa in the south of France.
I wish.
Well, if nobody minds, I'll plump for not Tuesday, because that's the evening that I drive small children around the Home Valley to various clubs.
Your mum's taxi that day.
Yeah, very much so.
Wednesday the 3rd?
Yeah, that should be.
At 7 p.m. Thank you.
And this is a subcommittee on Zoom.
It was just because we ended up with 1 month because of all the bank holidays. All the other things that filter in to full council. So we had one month where we couldn't quite squeeze everything in.
Right. So we're on to 125 then, traffic calming. Councillors and assistant clerk to report an update received on SID location suggestions. Progress with the 20-mile-an-hour zones close to schools and other traffic calming measures. And to note correspondence with Kirklees, Home Valley South councillors concerning the South SID.
So, quite a bit on SIDS. We've had back in February a note from Councillor Crook just to say that they are chasing up about schedules, and then also one from Councillor Brooke to say that they've had an update to say that the current locations are Scoresmore Road, which is one of our suggestions, and Sheffield Road at Dumfries Bridge, which is, there has been another correspondence about that from a different member of the public. And then the next proposed locations are Station Road and Greenfield Road.
I think they're the current locations, aren't they, the Sheffield Road one?
Yes.
But it's not Dumfries Bridge, it's probably in between Jackson Bridge and New Mill.
But I've got, they give me the map of
I've got to
proposed
profess to being
locations.
completely lost with this.
And that one's still there as well, because I drove past it yesterday.
What, the one on
At
Sheffield
Jackson
Road?
Bridge.
Yeah, what's been there about a year and a half.
Yeah.
So
So that's not listed here.
And we don't know,
it's
we don't actually know
it's the
it's
Sheffield Road one, it says.
Oh,
The current location in Sheffield Road, it's not at Dumfries Bridge, so, sorry.
Is that actually ours? Do we know that?
Well, one of them's ours, isn't it? One of them's is Kirklees, I don't know which one's which.
I don't think they know with this. I'm not sure that they.
Well,
Which now they're both the same. Aren't they?
Yeah, my customers both the same, I'm not really bothered about which one's ours.
No.
But like,
But ours, we think, was on New Mill Road near the school originally, wasn't it? Back
Yeah.
in April 24.
well,
And it moved.
yeah.
We never really got to know where it moved.
So,
to.
anyway-
We assumed it went to Jackson Bridge.
So anyway, if these are moving, it's great. It's taken about a month and nothing's happened yet. So I'd like to think that by the next planning committee meeting they'll have moved, and if not, we should ask them when they're going to be moved.
Right, so we've had notification that they're going to be moved, but haven't been moved yet.
I have to note that.
We've also had a note through from Councillor Greaves this morning to say that they've had their update as well, and that said that the devices are due to move in your ward, but doesn't again say which one will go where, but the new locations will be Wessington Head Road, Bradshaw Road and Wiltshire Road. It says the parish device will be rotated
Yeah, I think the idea with
Which I
the
think
Old
that
Valley
means
North one,
across
that
the
we
road.
just swapped it from one side of the road to
Yeah.
the, which is fine.
Yeah.
So that's happening by the look of it.
We still haven't had any information from these.
No, I don't know whether we'll get it.
What's the point of having it if we don't get any information
Yeah.
from them?
What are you going to do with the information?
We hope that somebody's acting on the information.
Yeah, you would, yeah. Yeah.
We do know that the police reacted to the information when it was up on Greenfield Road.
So, you know, it's now coming up to 2 years since that all went in on Newmill Road. We've no idea what the findings were from that. Should the police have acted on it? No idea.
It looks like if we are going to get it, it's going to come via the police councillors
I think we just have
as a liaison point.
to
I feel like asking for the money back. I'm just,
I think if we were getting moved every
It's
Every-
okay if it's moving, isn't it? I
if
mean,
we get moved 3 or 4 times a year, this last year's been a bit of a write-off, but I like to think going forward, it's been moved now. Let's hope that we can keep this momentum going and keep the pressure on to keep on
yeah.
moving until, like, if we keep this one there, like, say, till the summer, till the spring months, and then,
I'd just like some commitment that says, here's a list, we're going to move them every 3 months, so we know when they're going to move.
Yeah.
And you'll have the data from it a month after we've moved it.
that's the dream.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered about the
Yeah,
data, to be
there's
honest.
not much we can do with the data if we get the data. I mean, it'll be good to have it, but no, we can't really do anything with it.
Well, it does help us have an indication of what speed traffic is doing and numbers and things like that.
But it shows that the speed that people are going when them devices are there, when they're not there, people are like, oh, I'm not there. So, one thing it does show is that they will slow down the traffic there. And I see it myself when I'm coming down Sheffield Road on the way home from work. You see the vehicles when it comes up with the red numbers and they start slowing down.
Yeah.
So it does impact, it does slow people down there, definitely. The devices do the job, but you just need moving around more often for me.
I just feel I'd like a bit more commitment from,
Yeah.
I
I mean, the offices,
Hopefully it's a new start and they'll start moving them around more often.
the offices must have some idea as to where they want to put their road signs.
Did they have the resource to actually physically move them? Because that one's been there for ages. I just don't understand why it's been there for so long. Like we've come up with loads of locations and we've even chased it up a few times. Is it not the people there to do it, or I just don't understand?
I can't believe that.
I don't get it though.
And if there isn't, then they need to come clean.
There's been no explanation given, has it? No one's explained why it was stuck there for so long. But to be honest, I'm quite happy for it to be moved, and then hopefully if it keeps on moving, I'll be happy. But then if it's still there in about another 9 months' time, I'll kick it off again because once they're there so long, people start ignoring them and not being bothered about it.
Well, they actually, the research says 6 weeks and the levels of effectiveness. Now, you know, the compromise was, well, we can't move them every 6 weeks, but we'll move them every 3 months. So you're already, you know, stretching the point at 3 months.
I think we should hopefully, once
A
the
year.
RI moved immediately, once the RI moved, we should then send in new dates for the next time we want to be moved and the next location. We should do that and say we expect to done with 3 months' time. That's what we should do, try and keep on their toes about it and on it.
I mean, I know it's, one of them's going to Station Road.
Yeah.
But it's down, I think
There was a map
the
into
next time
where
we
we
have
go.
station, then there ought to be one on Station Road nearer the old Midlothian site. Because I can hear that traffic letting rip once they get past the junction of Townhead Road.
It's very wide, isn't it?
That's
That
where
road,
it's
so
going.
people just do drive past them.
But then you've got 2 new developments. We've got the Midlothian site and the one before that.
Oh, yeah, that's the car park.
That's the car park.
So,
And that's when you've got the junction with Back Lane and Bridge Lane just
Right
here.
into the centre, isn't it?
I
And
think
people
when
will
we,
be slowing down.
when we looked at
Oh,
this,
it's coming down into town, isn't it? That's what they're looking at.
I think
But
when we
they should
looked
be
at this,
slowing
there
anyway.
was a shortage of suitable lamp posts, that's a
Yeah.
good problem, isn't it?
But
They've
that,
identified one on the list, on that email, haven't they? They've got a number for one, so
Mhm.
it must be viable.
LC13.
but I mean, heavy goods vehicles and stuff should be slowing down anyway for that bend.
So, any actions this time?
I think as Tom said, note when they go on, and then
Do you want
In
me to
6
drive around and
weeks.
check?
No, we should note the correspondence, we should thank them for the correspondence and say thank you for coming back to us with this. And then, keep an eye out ourselves when it gets moved, and then, 3 months. And like, at that point, we send them through, or once it's been moved, send them the next location that we want to do. And maybe suggest a month up to be moved. I don't know. Are we being unreasonable? Are we being unreasonable? We're not, are we? But we make it feel like we're being unreasonable.
Well, one of them's ours anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
so,
No, I was only now, we just bought it
well, then we'll
and did it over.
take it back.
Okay.
And the other thing that came through was a different person who talked about the issues at Sheffield Road and speeding issues and damaged cars, etc. I think last time, Councillor Dixon, there was a lady that got in touch with you and you
Yeah.
were going to pass her, just check in with her.
I was going to do, and then about a week afterwards there was an accident and somebody unfortunately died. And I just thought, I've been putting off emailing her back because I think I'm going to look stupid emailing her back now saying, can we use your stuff to go back to Kirklees about? But I will do, but it's
I mean, feel free to just pass her on to me and
Yeah.
and I can touch base with her. And
Yeah,
pass her
it's-
on.
I'll do something about it.
And
It's
just
just,
say you had a meeting and then
Yeah,
I
it's-
manage you.
it's not good. It's not good what's happened
Yeah.
there. But it's people driving too fast on the roads and not taking enough care. And like one of my friends, he's a speed officer, and he always says to me when he's in a car with me, he says to me, he goes, this is a limit, it's not a target. You should not see it as a target and drive it. If it's 40 miles an hour, you shouldn't necessarily think, oh, I have to drive at 40 miles an hour. You shouldn't do. You should drive at the speed which is relevant to the road. But some people don't think about that. They don't think about the conditions. They don't think about if it's dark outside. They don't think about if it's bad corners and things like that. Some people just drive too fast and have
Run
accidents.
me off the road this evening.
Did they?
On the way down there.
What is wrong with some people?
I know.
It's terrible. I see it sometimes when I'm driving on Sheffield Road on my way to work. People are overtaking me because I'm not going more than 35 miles an hour on that road, and people driving way too fast. And it's just, yeah, what can you do?
I mean, there's from Jackson Bridge up to the old Vic, I mean, the number of holes in the wall is quite
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
There's always one. isn't there?
You know,
Always
this-
part of the
I
group.
did think it was a good candidate for a seat, but there are
Yeah.
no lampposts.
But like, when I spoke to the resident originally about it, when they built them originally, they said to me, there's no point in this weekend, like, it's a 60 mile an hour limit. So a lot of these people are probably driving within the speed limit.
Yeah.
They're not breaking the limit.
Just
But-
inappropriate for where they are.
But if anything, the limit should probably be reduced to something like 40 on that road. But then, so if it's 40 all the way up towards the Vic, and then
I don't know whether you've seen, it's been in the press, there've been a couple of sort of successes in getting speed limits looked at and crossings and things. But it's come about from petitions. One was up by the Sovereign. There's now going to be speed cameras at the Sovereign. But it took 3,000 people, a petition of 3,000 people to get any action.
but quite often they say as well, it needs to
Would you
be.
get 3,000 people on Sheffield Road?
No. When I went on my speed awareness course, donkeys years ago, they said that they don't put speed cameras up on places where there's been a casualty.
Yeah.
And they'll probably argue about Sheffield Road there wasn't one, but there has been now.
But you've got to have a number of casualties in
Yeah.
a very compressed time.
Then they can do it, but then hopefully they'll look at this now and we'll do something about it.
Unfortunately, the model they use is exactly that. They wait for an accident before they solve it.
But as well, though,
And you know, it's in lots of other settings, it's very outdated thinking that you would never do that in industry.
but as well, though, if they put it to 40 down on that road, 40 miles an hour, there's still be some people driving way too fast up there, because they'll come out there past all the houses and they think it's free for all, you can drive by the speed I want. There won't be some people who do that. Some people would take more care, I appreciate. And it might be the case that they have to get some of them cameras like they have on the way to work, where I drive to Tankersley, where they have them ones where they time you at 1.40 mile an hour and time you at the other side of
The average speed
I think-
yeah, average speed camera, something like that would do the job.
It isn't necessarily cameras that's a solution, is it? Sometimes it's traffic calming, isn't it, to reduce speed.
Well, I mean, it would just take the speed limit down to 50 as an interim. It would stop then the real hooligans.
Possibly, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it would do or not. Hopefully, you think it would do, but
Unfortunately, the bar to get anything done is very, very high.
Yeah.
When you think about the Sovereign and the accidents have been there, and there was a fatality there, wasn't there, just last year?
that wasn't, well, there was mitigating circumstances
Yeah,
with that.
but nevertheless.
They should take those into account because
There have been a lot of accidents there.
Oh yeah, I've seen
And
accidents.
it's taken all this time to get anything.
I've seen accidents there, and I was part of one last year, unfortunately. So it's easily done. It's bad. It's a very bad junction.
I mean, what are we saying on Sheffield Road? That
I want to speak to the resident, and I think we should write to the Kirklees officers, Kirklees about trying to put some calming measures in, like reinstate the chevrons, which I think have been demolished over the years, and maybe some more road markings, telling people to be slow, or even though there is some, but people just ignore them, and maybe we could ask them to be considered the speed limits as well.
I mean, on the sharp right-hand bend as you're going up, well, sorry, left-hand as you're coming down, the chevrons don't exist, it's just a blank board.
Yeah. We've been demolished by other people on over the years, like the roads and things.
right up at the top near the Vic, there are some seats, but they're solar and wind powered.
Yeah.
I thought they were Barnsley's, and I've been in touch with Barnsley and said, can you repair them? They don't work. And they said, no, it's your Kirklees, they know they can't afford to do it. So, don't hold your hopes up.
I think it's Kirklees till you get to the other side of the crossroads.
Apparently, although they're on Barnsley's roads, they are Kirklees devices. Kirklees put them there.
Okay, that's strange.
And they are aware of it, but they say there's no plans normally. Okay,
So,
moving
do
on.
you want me to write to Highways specifically about Sheffield Road?
Yeah, I'll try and get you that additional correspondence from that other neighbour as well.
Thank you. I mean, we passed this one over to Kirklees councillors anyway, so and they have been in touch directly with that about sometimes a few different approaches and having that.
Did we ever get anywhere with finding out who the person is in Kirklees from Highways?
No,
The lady died, didn't she? And,
I tried a number of different people and none of them have responded. I did get something from the kind of general email address from Highways about Packhams Bridge, just to acknowledge my chasing them up. Thank you for chasing them up, we'll chase them up, was the response. So no answer on that one, but I could potentially use that email address. This was about 20 mile an hour zone,
Yes.
wasn't it? Okay. I can give them a go. I don't have any named people that would deal with that sort of thing though, unfortunately.
she was quite good, wasn't she? She came to talk to us. Liz.
She was a bit miserable, but realistic, I would say.
Anyway,
She
apparently she's
turned
passed
up.
away, so shouldn't speak ill of the dead. Okay, moving on to, where are we? 126, Green Lanes, etc. I've nothing new on Ransom Road or Cheesegate now. Other than I did email our MP, Paul Davis about, I don't know whether perhaps you picked it up from the news. Someone dumped a caravan on Ramsden Road and wrecked it, and the wreckage all over, and that was closely followed by a lorry load of fly tipping. Whether he had anything to do with it or not, I don't know, but Paul did reply, and it was moved fairly quickly, like at least standards anyway. But unfortunately, they still haven't closed the road, which would solve the problem.
Which would help.
Yeah. Sorry, Tom.
It's alright. Coming down Scarhole Lane yesterday, which leads up towards Cheesegate Nabbies.
Yeah.
As I'm coming down there's some motorcyclists with their off-road bikes. There's two of them on one side of the road, and there's one on the other side of the road. You know Scarhole Lane, very narrow. And like, if they're all on one side, I could probably easily get past, but making it extremely difficult for me to get past. I have to crawl through very slowly whilst they're all giving me dirty looks and all this kind of thing. I think, what the hell? And as I'm doing that, I'm looking across as well from the other side, to the right hand side of the road, which is like the other side of the valley she's getting now. There's like a big banking up there, towards, well, there was near where Tinker's Monument used to be, over that side anyway. So a big banking there. And you can see some motorbike tracks going up the hillside there as well now. So they're going like off-roading, just going up this huge banking up there and destroying all the vegetation and all stuff. So there's all kinds of tracks. And once a couple of them have made tracks, there'll be all kinds of them going up there as well and doing that just on other people's land, and it's just really bad. I don't know what you can really do to stop that. There's an enforcement of the landowner that will stop them, but it's just, I just thought I'd give that report because it's just.
Cheesegate now is one of the lanes that, again, they're supposedly putting the TRO to stop all traffic, but they've had opposition, and I don't think they know what to do with it.
It's just really frustrating, and like I say, stuff like that. That was just me driving down that road on a Sunday afternoon, and like I encountered them, and I see them on Sheffield Road going up there quite a bit in these stupid fellow falls, and it's just frustrating, isn't it?
It's just awful, you know. I mean, I've
That's just one
spent
example.
my whole lifetime being out in the countryside, and I encourage other people to do it as well, but I like to think I do it in a responsible way, and when you see the damage that they do, it really does. It's quite upsetting.
It doesn't get any better, either.
And, you know, the people you're looking to solve the problem just seem as though they can't do anything or don't want to.
It's not just the damage, Andy, it's the abuse they give the local residents.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, I started going up there, talking to the residents, 2016? It was a 6 high, it's still 6 high now, it's never cleared off. Whatever Kirklees try to do, they're overridden it, because the books called green roads or green something or other, special magazines that they can get, and it tells you all these roads they can use, and it's wrong.
It's all on Facebook as well. They have Facebook groups where they're telling them where to go.
Well, that's another thing.
It's frustrating that
And the
Kirklees have
UCB,
they've been on with this
land as well.
2018 Kirklees, and they've failed now 3 times to do it. And yet there are people out there advising them and saying, look, you know, if you don't do it properly, it will fail. The 3rd time it's failed again. It's just so frustrating. Anyway,
No better.
I'll still be talking about it in 10 years later.
It's still in here in 10 minutes.
If I,
No, in here, in the chair. But we'll support you.
Okay, let's move on. 127, planning, policy guidance and consultation. This was S1060 levy. I did have a look at this. I got thoroughly lost with it. I didn't quite understand what it was on about.
It was very good though.
Was it?
I mean, that's a good way. No, I mean, the idea behind it was really, really good.
Yeah.
Trying to unlock some of that section one. It was wholly about, affordable housing, and to try and unlock the what's happened to it at the moment, because a lot of it partly they can't find social landlords to take it over. So let's hope it works anyway.
I suppose that leads on to S106 that we've talked about before in relation towards locally. And it's been waiting for me to just do a bit of analysis, which I found a bit late.
There is a separate item on section 106.
Is there a separate one to
Later on in
this?
the agenda, yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So if we move on to 128 design guide, anything to say on that? I mean, thanks to those that's been delivering them.
There's been a lot of some good feedback on Facebook I've seen about it.
I think the only comment I saw was totally negative.
I've seen some good feedback. Some people are saying positive about it because it's trying to keep houses and trying to keep home birth the way it is looking nice. So I did see some good feedback about it.
Somebody
Somebody tagged the
Yeah.
parish account into it, so there was quite a bit of discussion, and it was largely neutral or positive. I think there was a couple of people that felt like it maybe wouldn't be that effective, but actually there was quite supportive. I've run an article about it over the weekend as well, and an article on the website currently about it too. So
A little bit of feedback I had when I was actually delivering them was quite good. When you just explained what it was about. Nothing. Nobody objected or threw it in the bin or anything. Well, not while I was there. Yeah, I mean, if anybody's got any problems with delivering these things, shout out. I'll do a few more.
I've got a few more to do still around the outskirts, because some of mine are pretty edging a bit out of the sticks, so we need to get out there at some point, but delivered all the ones in New Mill first day, because it's just down the road, just a bit more shower.
have all the ones from the box gone now? I haven't checked. And we got a few left.
What was in the box for the leftovers?
All the envelopes have gone.
Yes, because we ended them out at
Yeah.
full council, didn't we?
Right.
Unless they've sneaked them back in. So yeah, thanks to Steve really for this one. Getting that
Well,
one.
not just me,
And
I had assistance. Thank goodness.
One Firth Town Centre Group, item 129. I've nothing new on this. Has anyone?
I do normally have a quick check for updates on the current roadwork situation, but I haven't this week, sorry to say. So I don't know if there has been any new announcements,
There was
new
something
dates or
on
anything
Facebook.
like that, was there?
The
Right,
night that
well, I've managed to miss that one.
The traffic lights have been pinched.
Yes.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
I think that was jesting, wasn't it?
Was that a jest?
Well, I don't know, they weren't there last night because I flew through. I thought, oh, this is good.
I think they took them out yesterday afternoon, didn't they? They were, I went back to Digley for a walk around there, and by the time I come back, I think they were gone or something like that.
Yeah, the rumour was a big stolen, but that's
about it.
You would need
they're back
it.
there now anyway. Item 130, Planning Standing Committee expenditure against budget and EMRs. I don't think there's too much to say on this, is there?
There is,
There's a recommendation on the next
a
page.
thing to do, which I shall explain. I think you probably remember that £1,000 of it was intended to be support money for the local plan review group
Yes.
for hiring meeting rooms or doing print rooms or whatever it was that was needed. Because that group is now reporting to full council, we do actually need to move the money to go with it.
So we need to buy everything.
So we just need to buy the money, yeah, so it's to approve a recommendation to do that, and then that will go into full council.
Are we all okay with that? Yeah.
Thank you.
So now we're on to item 131, section 106, yeah? Yes, I finally got down to doing a bit of analysis on it. sort of picked out all the 106 money that's relevant to Tom Valley. And it's really a case of what do we want to do with it, because it doesn't really tell you very much. It just leads you to another question. So, for instance, an application in 2019, we're on the way to Stockgate Road in Hull. There's £52,043 there. Contributions received.
Is it designated something though, this money or not?
Undoubtedly, but for what, I don't know. And what's happening to it, it doesn't tell you that, it just says that money is there. And I just wonder whether, I mean, you can ask the question for all of these, but given the usual response we get from Carcleys, I don't think we get anywhere.
It'd be useful to know, like, if
It might be useful to pick one or two out and say, I'd really like to know what that one's about.
when they identify the agreements, they say to them what it's for, don't they? They'll say something it's for. I can remember when they did the works in New Mill, the big one. They said the one that was going to spend on the highways and fixing the road and making that so that it would fit with the houses and that. So you get a lot of stuff like that, don't you? But then also like stuff for play areas as well sometimes. So that might be like maintenance when it's playground or something like that. There's a bit left over. So you get stuff like that, I think, but it's not mentioned. Actually, one of the things locally, which I was really pleased about, I was going to mention it last council meeting actually, is that some of the section 106 agreement is gone towards Aiden School, where it goes to New Mill Junior and Infants, where they've built this additional, well, in the infant school, they're converting the old caretaker cottage and making that into special needs kind of hub area and stuff like that for kids, and it'd be quite good for kids locally where they don't have to travel as far to go to get the additional help and things like that. And they've done a one at the juniors as well, and so that's what some of the money's gone towards there. And it's like when you actually realise where the money's coming from, you're thinking that's actually money well spent and it's worthwhile.
Well, I'm not knocking that at all.
So it's worth. So it's just be good to know what they want to do with this money and what it's allocated against.
And the very last one I thought was quite interesting. Miscellaneous future projects.
Yeah.
I mean, this goes back to 2012, Crickleton Mill. Construction of Riverside Bridge or other public right-of-way improvements, if not expended on the bridge after 10 years.
Have they got the permission to do that there?
There's £27,300 there.
Have they actually done that works down there? They haven't. So like once they do the works, or they might actually give them the money. Then they might not even have the money.
I don't know which development this was. 2012. It must have been the houses that's down there, wasn't it?
It's one of the original ones.
Yeah.
Oh, it might could have been, couldn't it?
So there's money from that development towards Hansora Bridge that's seemingly still sat there. I would think that's in danger of being given back to them if they don't do something.
Well, we should mention. I think we should go back to the last.
Could I suggest? I mean, I've only just done this. I think I've sent it to everyone.
Yes.
Would you mind sort of going through it? Let's see if we can pick out one or two we'd like to ask questions about.
That's the questions for all. I'd like to know like what forward it on to Kirklees and ask them what is this money in particular going to be spent on? Because like some of them they mention like a little bit, but like, the actual details of the sites where it's going to be spent on or the projects.
I just fear that if you ask for more, you'll get.
Well, should we go with the oldest? Should we go with the oldest five then first?
I mean, perhaps we could try and find out who deals with this 106 within Kirklees.
There were names attached to it.
Whether they like to come and talk to us and explain a bit about
That
it.
would be useful because I think there are all sorts of rumours swirling around about section 106, aren't there? That developers put money towards things that know will never be spent, and I think I understand that it could not be true, may not be true about sometimes education. That put money for education it's not actually needed because the schools are undersubscribed anyway.
Yes.
And then I think the money goes back after 5 years because there was
Something like that.
there was worry up at Haid Edge where section 106 money was spent on the road improvements in Haid Edge. There were rumours there that it had been spent in North Kirklees and so on, and then
Nonsense.
then concerned that it would have to go back to the developer and there were about 2 years remaining. But it would be good to actually know what the facts
I
are.
mean, the schools are quite interesting.
They are,
There's one here, 2019, Scott Gate Road, Honley, towards the provision of school places at Honley Church of England Junior Infant Nursery School. £195,000.
Yeah.
But yet we know that the junior schools are finding it difficult to fill places.
Yeah.
So what's it actually for?
Could
I'm
it
not
be-
saying it's going to be wasted, it may be,
No.
like you said, it could be for send pupils.
Yeah, or improve facilities or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Like if it goes towards making the school better, then
It just makes you question, doesn't it? It just
Yes.
makes you think,
Yeah, I mean, the developers do
have things moved on since 2019 in terms of schools? You know, certainly they have.
And developers are very skilled, aren't they, in
Yeah.
negotiating contracts over section 106.
Yeah,
I did sort of read up a bit about how
Yeah.
they arrive at these figures, and there are formulas that they use, and it's dependent on the size of the project, etc., etc. So it's not just a case of Kirklees having a wish list, you know, there are limits to what they can get. But nevertheless, from our point of view, we want to know that it's being spent, don't we? It's being spent on the
Yes.
right sort of things.
I mean, it'd be helpful if Kirklees actually asked all the parishes on this application, there's X pounds on section 106. What do you think is the priority in that area?
And I think we've an opportunity there, haven't we, for new developments, and,
Yeah.
you know, we've been on about one tonight, haven't we, Jim Lane, if it does come about.
Yeah.
That's perhaps an opportunity to get in and say, what would we like to see out of the S106 on that?
Well, it's stuff like where I think about, I don't know too much about the schools, about Maiden School, about what those schools' needs are. But like, I know there's like playground in the middle of Wardale, which is all tacky and all and can do with being done up. And if there's some money could go towards that, or we all know highways junctions that can be improved and stuff like that. Like we talked about up at Sovereign, or like even the junction around Wardale's quite bad as well. Actually, by the high school, we can definitely do some things up where the Royal Oak used to. There's about 3 junctions all meet in one place there, and there's other things like that. Like there's definitely could be ways that the highways can be improved at different areas.
So, what do we think our actions are on this?
I'd like to get more information, and it'd be good to have somebody from Kirkway speak to us, invite someone to speak to us.
I mean, could we write just for the, say the 3 or 4 oldest ones, could we write just to sort of ask what's happening with those monies?
I think we should do about them.
I look at some of these, 2012,
Because that should have been spent by now. It's a waste of money, isn't it? Just sat there doing nothing.
17.
Perhaps the developer, it hasn't been spent, wasn't it?
Did they ever ask you about it, or when you were a Kirklees councillor, what to spend it on?
Well, I'll tell you what we used to do. As local councillors, we used to have the say where that 106 money got spent. We would tell officers what we wanted to do, and they would come and check, and if they thought it was right, it would get spent there. The only thing we did slip up with was the wall and the parking at the back of Wooldale Co-op at Thongs Bridge. Now that stands out to me because 10 years ago, might even be longer, I got a letter from a guy down in Kirklees saying, "Dear Councillor Firth, we are going to put that money, that 106 money, you've decided where you want to spend it, we're going to spend it on that car park, and we're going to have a drop-off zone there, drop-off and pick-up zone for the kids at the school."
I remember that.
Then in moved the company who owned the land, which wasn't Kirklees, for the mugger, and they said, "No, we want that land, even though it was sloping like that." We fought them again, and we actually got them to say it was okay to do it, and then suddenly it jumped from £14,500 at the end of the day, it finished up at £145,000 to do it. So it never got done. It never got done. Just kept jacking it up. It was disgusting.
Because that is actually one thing where I think could definitely be improved, because that is dangerous there.
It is dangerous.
Because people park
The
up there.
part with the back end stuck out.
And then when you're reversing out, you've got bad visibility. I've been there myself when I was trying to do it. You have to be very careful there when you're trying to get out. And there's been accidents there. There's been accidents there over the years.
You know,
Well, they come up Luke Lane, some steam up Luke Lane, take a left without looking, there's somebody coming down, somebody's parked the car back and then down, stands a good chance of being taken off.
It's bad if you want to go down Luke Lane as well though, there. 'Cause if you go around the corner from there, and then you don't have much of a visibility around the corner towards Hayes Road either, so that is definitely something
I
there.
mean,
We even got the co-op manager, when it was a private co-op, to write with us on our behalf for all roads to Kirklees to say, look, when is this job going to start? And we made it like contact tabletop. Nobody was taking any notice.
The Sports England, wasn't it? There was all the things involved, but anyway.
I thought this was quite interesting. Housing Future Projects. This is
Yeah.
2016 application. There's 392,000 for the provision of affordable housing in North Firth.
Yeah.
So what's not happening with that?
I guess that's what that article's about, isn't it?
Yeah, perhaps I can't find
Yeah.
anybody to take it on.
Perhaps it can, yeah.
It's a nice one if you're the developer.
Mm.
Dangled a nice carrot.
Yeah.
Thinking, no one's, there's no one
Yeah,
there
what
to
was
take
the
it on
cardboard?
board.
So, food for thought anyway.
Interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
that is interesting.
Very interesting.
Where have we got to? Last item, 132, publicising the work of the Home Valley Parish Council, Assistant Clerk to update.
Most of what's going out at the moment will be related to the annual parish meeting, which is coming up towards in a couple of weeks. That is most of what I am doing at the moment. So apologies if I'm a bit late in responding to people because I've kind of got my head into all sorts of other things. And just to be aware that just after that is we go back into election sensitivity. So I'm trying to squeeze through as many little news stories as possible. But what about phone boxes going out this week? Trying to get all the little news stories done before that. Before we have to kind
Is
of.
there anything else you
Actually,
You've done your report, your committee report, which you've sent through. If you've got any working group ones that you want to contribute to as well,
I've only got
that needs to come through.
that one. I thought.
You've put that on your document, haven't you? In which case that's fine. Councillor Rugby, have you heard any more about this second video from?
well, I was just going to bring that up. Does that come under the burden articles?
It's not really about the council, so I don't really think so, but we might need to
I mean,
give that some.
I had a long conversation with Olivia when the weather was awful.
Yes, and that's what the delay's been, hasn't
Yes,
it?
and
Is that
she
she's
was
not
sort
been
of
able to get out
desperately
filming.
waiting for
Yeah.
3 or 4 days of continuous nice weather
Oh, good luck.
where she could
End
go
of
out
July.
and get some sunshine rather than
Yeah.
this is Yorkshire, this is Home Firth, and we're jolly good with grey clouds.
Yeah. Oh, it's really beautiful when the sun shines, and I totally see that.
So
We're getting 4
no.
days in a row.
she's had a conversation with myself and I believe with Sarah Whitelaw as well.
So it's in her.
So she knows the imperative nature
Yeah.
of getting it done, but we've been somewhat thwarted.
Yeah. It was like
The
without.
weather gods have not been with us.
Yeah. I don't suppose there's necessarily an end date to it. So if it goes to the other side.
But
of
she
that,
knows
that's
that
alright,
there
isn't
is
it?
an imperative nature to it. Let's put it like that. But what worried me was the other day when I was thinking about it, oh God, we are going to be impaired.
We are. We don't use that word
Oh,
anymore.
so that's good.
Election sensitivity. We'll explain why.
Interestingly,
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't know when it's
No,
talking about.
No, I need to do it. Need to do it. Yeah.
The press still use it, it's an integrated term, and it is, there's a
It's a
reason.
more
Yeah,
generic
it's
term as well,
retired.
isn't it? It's not
I
just
think-
about
Yeah,
anything
so,
else.
So we'd lost,
Yeah.
That's a shame. When's our next meeting? Is it next week, or is it next week or two? Close rec. Is that what you're
I
about?
don't know.
Right.
I don't know, yeah. Go for
You're
it.
thinking, what meeting's this?
See you
Oh,
later.
yeah, bye.
Nice to see you,
Yeah,
Darby.
bye.
The market we're talking about.